Hello everyone, welcome back to Coding for Kids, and today we'll be going over the looks blocks. In one of our previous videos, we have went over the motion blocks, and today we'll be starting with the look blocks. So let's get started. So this block says hello for 2 seconds. So if we click it, it will say hello in a text bubble for 2 seconds. In the white fields, we can change to whatever we want it to say. Maybe I wanted to say hi for shorter. Maybe I want to show it for a bit longer, probably 3 seconds. So once we click it, it'll say hi for 3 seconds and then it will disappear. Now, this is say hello. It doesn't say for blank any seconds. So this program is gonna run, this block is gonna run until the program is either stopped or if it's under a statement which makes it stop at the very end. So if I click on this, it'll say hello. It'll keep on saying it or still staying on the screen forever until I click stop. I can also change this field. Maybe I want to say also, hi, how is your day? And once I click it, it'll say, hi, how is your day? And once I click stop, it will go away. The think is very similar to the say, but the way that it appears on the screen is slightly different. Instead of it saying it as a text bubble, it will be saying it as a thought bubble. So instead of saying hi for 3 seconds, it'll think in a thought bubble for 2 seconds. So if we click it, you can see it's like a thought bubble, and the difference is this is a text bubble. And now you can either also change it from to like 2 plus 2 for 2 seconds. Like, what is 2 plus 2, right? This think is very similar to the say in that you can also change this field and it will act very much the same as the say, but the only difference is just the appearance on the display. It will only be stopped by either the stop function or if it's under a statement which makes it stop. So think, maybe you can say, how long is a book? How long is a book? Well, that's a very deep question. For different types of books, it can be different lengths long. All right. Now, switch to costumes. In order to first make a costume, we have to go to the top tab here, click on costumes. There is already a default costume too, in which the sprite over here looks different. And this one is walking, and this one, it is like in a running motion. So to make sure we can make this a clear difference, I'm gonna make it fill with a different color, probably light blue. Make sure it's clicked on this option and just fill it in to whatever you like. You can do anything you want. If you want to add one, you can choose a costume and you can like find various different costumes and you can add it. Maybe like a ball, and this is like, let me rename this costume to like costume 3. This one is costume 2. This one is costume 1. So if we go back to our code, if it says switch to costume 2, once I click it, it'll go to costume 2. Now if I want to go to costume 3, it'll switch to costume 3. But if I click it back to 1, it'll switch it back to 1. Next costume, we'll go down the line. So we have costume 1, costume 2, and costume 3. And once we click costume 3, we will go back to 1 and repeat the line down. So let's try that. Next costume, as you see, it goes to green or a light blue, and then it goes to the pink ball, and then goes back to the orange cap. Now, backdrops. In order to create a backdrop, we have to go to choose a backdrop here, where either you can choose one, paint one, or maybe even upload a backdrop. So let's try the basketball one, and let's try another backdrop, Beach Malibu. So as you can see, there is a backdrop one, a basketball one, a Beach Malibu, next backdrop, previous backdrop, and a random backdrop. So if you click basketball one and click it, it'll go to the basketball. If you go to Beach Malibu, it'll go to the Beach Malibu. If you click backdrop one, it'll go to backdrop one. And if you go to next backdrop, it will go to the basketball one, to the Malibu one, back to the normal backdrop. If you click previous, it'll go from Beach Malibu back up to basketball one, to backdrop one, and then from backdrop one, it'll start at Beach Malibu again and then go up. So right now we're at backdrop number one. It'll go to Beach Malibu, then the basketball, then back to the normal. Now, if you click random, it'll pick a random one out of these three on our list. So go from the basketball, back to the beach, back to the normal. Now, next backdrop acts the same as the next backdrop option that is here. We just click it and it'll just go to the next backdrops and it'll just repeat in that list. Change size is going to change the size listed here. So right now it's at 100. Now if we change it by 20, it will add 20 to its size. Now if we put this at a negative number, maybe negative 20, it will decrease the size back to 100. And each time you click it, it will get smaller and smaller. And if it's at 5, it's the smallest size. Now if you go change size up by 20, it'll grow by 20 each time, and it'll go all the way up. Now, set size to, instead of it being a number, it's a percentage. So if you want it to be at exactly 100%, it'll set its size back to 100. If you want to set its size to 34%, it will set the size to 34. If you set the size to 78%, it'll set the size to 78. And in case you want to try a negative number, you'll get to 5 because that's the smallest size possible for a sprite. Let's switch it back to 100. Now, the change color has a variety of options here. So, for the color, if we click it, it will change its color to light green, to dark green, to light blue, to dark blue, to purple, to pink, to red, and back to orange. It'll follow the color spectrum in which it starts with orange and it will end with orange, as it starts with increments of 25. Now if you put a negative 25 here, it will go from light green back to orange and it'll go in the reverse option. So we had pink before orange, red, and then it'll go back to pink, then it'll go back to blue, bluish purple, then to blue, then to light blue, then to dark green, to light green, back to orange. Now, fisheye is just expanding or decreasing at that one point. It's just trying to push everything into that one center point or move everything out and stretch it from that one center point. So as you see, we put in a negative value, everything is being squished into that one point. Now, and that one point is a center, which is right here. So now if you click add 25 instead of negative, it'll go out and it'll make it like a big bubble off that one point, which is right here. Now let's reset this and put whirl. So whirl, we'll explain this one later. Whirl, it will move the cat in a spinning rotation like a whirl twist, And if you put it by 25, it moves counterclockwise. However, if we click this button, drag this here, clear graphics, and we click it, it'll clear it back to its original state. And if you put instead of 25, negative 25, it'll whirl in a clockwise rotation. So let's click clear graphics. And now let's go to pixelate. Pixelate would just mean that this cat right here will turn into blobs of pixels. So let's put in 25. It will just turn into pixels until it's just blobs of pixels. Now, if you want it to be negative 25, it will redo the same thing, but it will first go back to its original state and then go backwards, because it's going from negative to a positive and then back to a negative, if you get what I mean. Anyways, set the color. Well, this is the same thing as change and set as set. So if you put this at the beginning of your program or statement, it will just go to that certain thing and will stay like that until it says until you click clear graphics. So let's say the effect to maybe 25 and a whirl to 25, but it won't change it every time you click it because you already set the statement to make it only affect 225 and not by. Each time you click by 25, it'll go on and on until you click it, but this is just a concrete statement. So it would, once you click it and once it's ran through once, it won't run it again. So let's clear the graphics again. Now the showed and hide. So if we click hide, it will hide the cat or the sprite within the display area. And if we click show, it will show the cat back in the display area. Now, front layer and forward layer. In order to show this demonstration, I'll be adding 2 more sprites. So let's add Avery, and let's add I'm feeling a basketball. Alrighty. Alright. So right now, if we are looking at this, the cat is at the very back. Avery is in the middle between the ball and the cat, and the ball is in the very front. So if you go back to our cat, and if you wanted to go to the very front layer, it'll bring the cat from which was all the way to the back behind the basketball all the way to the front. And go to the back layer, it'll bring the cat all the way back to the very back. Now go forward by 1 layer, we'll move the cat in front of Avery. But if we put -1, it'll make it behind Avery. So we can put this to whatever we want. If we want it to be 3, we'll bring it to the very most front. But since there's nothing over the cat after 2 layers, so if you put 5, it'll just stay the same. But if you change it between 0, 1, and 2, or 0, -1, and -2, it will change because there is only 2 layers between everyone. The cat is in front of Avery and the basketball by 2 layers. Avery is in between the cat by 1 layer, and in between the basketball by 1 layer, and the basketball is behind Avery and the sprite of the cat by 2 layers. So let's just keep it at 2, and it'll just stay there. Now, costume, backdrop, and size. We'll just list it on the display area where your costume is. So the costume number right now for the cat is 1. This is the first costume, as this is in the top right. The backdrop number is 1 because this is the first backdrop that we have. If we go to the backdrops right here, Backdrop 1 is the first backdrop, and the size, it will say is 100 as it says right here. Now, if we check this box, it will show all three, the sprite costume number and the sprite size. And the backdrop number should show as we change this maybe to the name, and it'll say backdrop 1. Maybe uncheck this. Oh, maybe it only shows 2 at screen at once. So it can only check 2 because it only shows 2 at once. But you can change it from number to name, and it will actually list the names. This is costume 1. If you go here, it is costume 1. And the size, there's only one thing. It's a number. There is no name for the size. So that is what it is. So yeah, thank you for tuning in to Coding for Kids Look Blocks. And yeah, hopefully you found this tutorial helpful, and thank you.